Hey, yo, what's going on? People be tripping. The freak out, man. Whoa, people be tripping. Wow. You would think it was the end of the world or some shit. Why? Why people tripping? Well, I mean, I guess people do have a reason to trip a little bit. And, you know, I hate to be the one that be's the fearmonger because, you know, I'm always yelling about people fearing things. So I'm going to try and explain this. Yeah! I'm going to try and explain this answer to the blue light special we had today. Or yesterday, whenever it was. Without trying to make people fear too much. Because in reality, what may have actually happened is far kind of worse than what people may think it is. Today's show is sponsored by Brookhaven Laboratory. We are, or they are, also the sponsors of JFK Jr.'s possible death and, well, Flight 800 and possibly the Twin Towers. Brookhaven Laboratory. When you need a laser to blow shit up, call Brookhaven Laboratory. On Long Island. Out in the woods. Smashing atoms. We're going to talk about Brookhaven Laboratory today, if you haven't guessed. What you're seeing here is, well, and you know what the worst part is? These scientists, and, you know, they're nerdy, so they come up with interesting names for things. And, you know, the star, the phoenix, and, you know, my, you know, eyesight so it's not so good when I have the small screen here. You might be able to see it better, but I'm sure there's other interesting names. They always put their esoteric bullcrap in their scientific experiments and everything else. And you say, wait a second, Jared, it's blue light, Con Ed, blue light. You know, what did it have to do with this? Well, I took a look, and I noticed when I was seeing all these videos with the blue light just booming down that, yeah, Queens, they were like, you saw the UN building, right, off on the side along the East River there. And then in an alignment, it kind of passes through Con Ed and goes straight out towards what would be in the direction of Brookhaven Laboratory. And it pops up in my head. I'm like, okay, well, let's start to think about this. Let's use... Yeah, I know people have trouble finding it, but it's right here. Your brain for a minute, you know? Hello, howdy there, Rebecca and Sarah. Oh, all right. The computer didn't turn on, so I must have used better grammar when I said your name. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat it though, cause you know what happens when I say your name. Anyways, so I see this alignment, all right, and I start thinking. Now the alignment wasn't necessary for what may have happened, but it was interesting. Okay, we have Brookhaven Laboratory, which is a hydrogen collider. They smash atoms, atom smashing, and we're gonna get more into that in a second here. But I wanted to maybe explain what they got going on here. Okay, and as you can see, at this place, you can even go there and have your picture taking with a giant atom smasher. And in case you want to take the family and friends to the atom smashing place, it's available there for pictures when they have prearranged functions for pictures to be taken with the atom smashing machine. Okay? In case you want to do that. And of course, you can go to the Brookhaven cafeteria and get some atom smashing coffee provided by Brookhaven National Laboratory. Okay, well, but what we're going to get into here, okay, I want this to be kind of clear so people can understand the actual process of what happened, okay? This is an atom smashing place where they shoot shit, and, people need to understand this. And I'm going to get to the blue line and tie it all in, okay? But we got to take steps. And this is how we figure things out, all right? People on the internet be going like, blue line! Aliens! Holy shit! Without, taking the time to look at and analyze things. Or, oh, transformer blowing up. Okay? Yeah, blue light, freaking, death rays from the sky. Okay? And listen, I'm not discounting anything. All right? Y'all can think whatever you want. I'm going to give you an intelligent explanation of what I really, came up with, and it took me less than 3 minutes to figure it out when I actually looked at it. But we're going to see here. What do we have here? Well, we have let's call it the tubing, right? Where they send, atoms, where they send particles to smash into each other, right? In a big circle. We saw that big circle that they had at the laboratory there, right? Let's see. Call me Hasbro. All right, Hasbro. Be right back. Howdy, okay. Anyway, so you get it here. They shooting. All right, and they got the machine there. What we saw. All right, they're gonna shoot the particle. All right. So we see this is the tubing. Now let's show you where it all starts out here. I think they call this either the Phoenix or the Star. Okay. And we're gonna show you this in here, right here. Okay. This is the Phoenix or the Star. I can't remember what. All right. So this is like the chamber for the gun, right? So you got the cylinder there, right? You got magnetic, oscillation, speeding up the particles, ready to pow, shoot them right into that tube, right? And of course, there's a couple things that are going to happen when you do things like that, right? When you shoot something, right? No matter how well insulated it is, you got something that's shooting in a circle, electromagnetically. What happens? You create a charge, okay? So shit's got to be well grounded here. That's number one. That's very important. Always remember while you're electrically wiring your house or anything else that you properly ground yourself and shut off the main breaker. Again, sponsored by Brookhaven National Laboratory. So you need a ground. So let's hope that they're well grounded, okay? But if you're not grounded, what happens? What happens when you're not grounded and you create a charge? A big particle charge, okay? All right? Before I even get to that, what happens? You created a big charge. Anyone? Anyone over here? What happens? Let's see if the chat here. What happens when you create a charge and you don't have a proper ground? Huh? Anyone? All of a sudden, the chat went quiet. Nothing. That's bro. Okay. Well, everybody's saying hi, but I'm asking the question. Does anybody have an answer? What happens when you have a charge or an out of control charge that's not grounded properly? Anyone? You might get shocked. Very good. Thanks, you Hasbro. Thank you. You get shocked. Okay. What happens when you see a shock? You know, like when Blissey goes under the blanket, it's really dry up here in the wintertime. She gets shocked, shocked, right? What are those shocks? Those are what? Arcs, right? An arc. Okay. So, let's say you're playing around at this atom smashing laboratory, and Gary forgot to push one of the buttons. Hey, Gary, you're supposed to push the fucking button. You know what I mean? Push the fucking button. That was all you were supposed to do, and you didn't push the freaking button. Now what happened? Gary forgets to push the button to engage the ground or whatever. Or maybe they intentionally do it to see what happens. To, you know, fuck with shit. Okay? So, let's say you're, you know, creating that charge and actually creates a static charge into the sky, into the atmosphere, right? Right? Well, all of a sudden, you need a ground. Well, what's the best grounded place in Long Island? The Con Ed building. It's going to attract a charge and it's going to ground a charge. Ba-ba-boom! It's not that complicated, people. Did anybody not understand that explanation? Does it mean it was nefarious? It could have been. Does it mean that it wasn't, you know, just a mistake? No, it doesn't. It could have been multiple. It could have been the government actually, you know, planning this out. They could have understood these, you know, scientific principles and let it happen. Do we know? No. No. Let me bring you over to an article real quick. Let's see if I can do that real quick. All right. Let's see here. Let's bring you into this article here. Okay. What was going on here was over the past year, and you can see Chuck Schumer here, is they wanted to slash the budget for Brookhaven Laboratory, which, you know, would have put like 3,000 scientists out of work. Listen, you don't want to piss off scientists that control things like atom smashers. Usually not a good idea. But what I found interesting here is Schumer's talking about these budget cuts and how horrible it can be and all this and that. All right, and which is also is this whole budget was part of like the Energy Department of Energy. Okay, so it's interesting that we have Con Ed involved, and we have Brookhaven and possibly involved, and the Department of Energy. So you can see where this is gearing up towards. Yeah, they're testing out other shit. Exactly, Hasbro. They're definitely testing out something. And what I find interesting here is when we talk about Brookhaven Laboratory, okay, we're talking about, yes, the Department of Energy. We're talking about NASA. We're talking about, you know, all kinds of different types of research and everything else. They have a long history of bizarre stuff, everything from MK Ultra to suspicions of time travel. They've experimented with delta antennas, which disrupt time and space. Okay, so you know, when you're looking at something in this particular area where something like this happened, who are you going to look at as a possible culprit? Well, this place, which is not too far away. All right, Queens is basically on Long Island. It's on the top end of Long Island. Okay. Towards Manhattan. So, yeah, I mean, you got to understand, if you're going to look at any culprit, this is going to be your main culprit. But I want to jump back over here and discuss something else that's kind of, I think, a little bit important. All right. Let's, you know, take a look at this. Okay. You know, so is this guy just showing the special instrument for finding scientists' small penises or something else? I don't know. But what I see in the background is, you know, the type of device. And The best way to explain it to you is if you took apart your microwave oven, right? And the core, the main part, okay, the magnetron, the main part that cooks your food, that's responsible for your food cooking, is this piece of equipment here. It can be used in different types of ways, creating lasers, creating microwaves, particle acceleration, blah, 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 that type of thing. But when we're talking about Brookhaven Laboratory, we have to talk about this. And why I brought up the whole Schumer thing and that going on is we have to talk about this. And this is Donald Trump's uncle, his Uncle John. Donald J. Trump gets the J in his name, which his middle name is John, from this man here, his father's brother, John G. Trump. The man most known for possibly being responsible for stealing the Tesla papers, and then when the papers went missing, he came out with many new patents and other things, such as, he basically what he did is he went through like other people with his inventions so they didn't always tie back to him, and he just kind of put his name at the back of it, so he wasn't, in other words, other people seemed like they were the ones inventing it, but he was actually the one behind it. But everything from the transistor to radiation treatment for cancer. So yeah, this guy's a really screwed up guy, but he sold some of, actually, I need to get this picture. Actually, I think I have it in here. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see if we can get you this picture. This is kind of an important picture. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, I know it's here somewhere. All right, let's get this mofo. Let's get this mofo. Maybe it didn't save. Here it is. All right, now we're talking. All right. All right. Okay. Bam. Answering some questions makes some things seem kind of shady now. We have, Trump doing budget cuts on a place that may have actually been where his uncle sold the technology to create the particle smasher in the freaking first place. What's going on here? So, is it just like a kind of a little political dance? Is it trying to take attention away from the Trump's family involvement in some of these things? I'm not quite sure. But what people need to understand is the Trump family and this laboratory have a long history. Okay? And do we know if they're still friends? Do we know if they're enemies? If we know if, Trump is, wanting to steer away from that technology, and and the people that it was sold to are just abusing it. Who knows what the whole story is? But what we know is there's some very nefarious and crazy people involved in this craziness. Okay, smashing atoms. Okay, you're playing God. Who wants to play God? Huh? The Masons. Guaranteed, every single one of these high-end scientists are Masonic, So, more people saying it was a laser. Okay, yeah, well, which is, yeah, okay, you don't understand. All right. If you got, which would more likely mean that it was intentional, okay? And I forgot where I tossed that picture off to. But yeah, these are the type of things that actually create lasers, all right? When we talk about Flight 800, which went down directly in front of, off the coast, directly in front of Brookhaven Laboratory, people said they saw a beam of light, okay? All right, now this was back in the day. There's also people that said that they may have seen a beam of light off of Nantucket when JFK Jr. went down, okay? All right, Nantucket. The flight path goes right by Brookhaven Laboratory. So in other words, when JFK took off, he would have had to fly out to fly away from the commercial air traffic, and then fly past Brookhaven, fly out to do his descending approach towards Nantucket. So he would have been off angle, perfect angle for them to shoot a beam if they wanted to. So yeah, in theory, yeah, you could shoot a beam into the atmosphere, right? And it's going to start to look for a ground if they have some kind of disposition beam, and then it's going to go bam right into somewhere like Con Ed, right? You need a ground. It's and not only that, is they may have actually known it. I mean, the current, if you look at the Con Ed building, right, that was supposedly the place where this went on, it's a generator. It's a generating plant. Okay, so you generating. What are you doing? You're generating a current. You're creating a current. So yeah, you got out on Long Island, big huge place that's creating a current. You got another place, all right? Even though they're not in the same exact area there, there's a lot of stuff in between, right? But underground, who knows what's going on? For all we know, because we know they got tunnels and shit. All they know, they could have just looped a little fucking ground in between the wire in between both places, and it just went bam, that easy, And then Con Ed gets money to rebuild their stuff from a grant, and then their experiment went well, so then the scientists get more money. I mean, we don't really know. What I'm saying is, these are the most likely culprits for what happened, whatever it may have been. It's really as simple as that. So, what happened? Oh, Louisiana has a collider too, right? Supposedly it went offline, but then there's also stories that it never did. Okay? I would have to look at it more, but yeah, where was it in Louisiana? What would be interesting is if somebody can send me the information of where it happened in Louisiana, and I'll check out its location to the colliders, and then we'll see if we can put two to two. If we can put 2 and 2 together to get an answer there, it could have been the same situation. There's these colliders all over the place. There's also I think one that scared me the most is the Large Hadron Collider they have right outside of Chicago. Okay. That one seems like it's had the ties to the people that are the most nefarious. So I wouldn't put it past them for something to go off from there. That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think you should take a look at the collider they have right outside of Chicago. Off the top of my head, I forgot the name of it. I think it's something people should be aware of, because that way if something crazy goes on in Chicago, we might have a little more of an answer. All right. So, I didn't get into CERN yet. I know I've been promising to talk about CERN, but there's some interesting things with CERN too. And, I'll get into that one of these days, but this is kind of like our CERN in America, except for they have a very shady history. When you have accusations of actual murders, yeah, that's scary. You gotta remember, you have Brookhaven Laboratory, right? You have Flight 800 go down, JFK Jr. go down. Right off of the tip of Long Island, you have what the fuck? What's the stupid island there? What the hell's the name of the island? Now I can't believe I forgot the name of the island. They do experiments there all the time. Let me zoom in here. It is, Plum Island. Okay, Plum Island's where they created Lyme disease. And they have other very crazy experiments going on. They have for a long time, everything from mad cow's disease to all kinds of crazy shit they've done there. So, there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in that area. Anyways, I hope that explained a few things. I don't know. Who knows? I could be totally off. It could have been aliens shooting laser guns. It could have been, I don't know. Really, when it comes down to it, this kind of makes sense. It could have just been a transformer blow up. It could have been a plane with a laser that shot down. Yeah, but when you really look at what's right there, they had the means, they had the motive, and they had the opportunity. That's something right there that says it needs to be investigated. Of course, things like this never do get investigated, but when you have the means, motive, and opportunity, that's enough for something to be investigated more. Too bad that's not going to happen, but, well, it's the world we live in.